Hello, this is Mike Morse of Morse Instrument Repair, and the purpose of this video is to show you how to take a front-loading rotor out of a tuba. This is a rotor that has to be pulled out towards the front of the horn rather than driven out from the back of the rotor like normal. The tools that you'll need to do this are a screwdriver. Obviously you need a screwdriver with the type of head that will fit the screws that you have. This particular instrument has a Torx head screw for the linkage arm, a flat bladed screw, or you need a flat bladed screwdriver for the stop arm screw, and then flat bladed to remove the guard screws. You also need a clean lint-free rag, a towel, padded surface to set the instrument on, and a puller of some sort, and I'll demonstrate the use of this. This is a puller that I make, and it's available from me at morseinstrumentrepair.com. It's M-O-R-S-E like Morse code, or Mack Brass, or the Tuba Exchange. You also want lubricants of your choice for the valve, and you'll probably need either a piece of plastic rod or a drumstick, piece of a drumstick cut off, or a piece of dowel. Start out by removing one of the guard screws. I need to use a slightly smaller bladed screwdriver for that. Actually, the first thing you should do, this is why you have the towel, is drape the towel over the instrument so that if you drop your screwdriver, you don't dent your horn. And I'll try and make it so that you can still see what I'm doing. So back one of the screws all the way out. And this guard setup may be different on different models, but on this one, I'm just going to take one of the screws all the way out and back the other one out a little ways and swing the guard out of the way. Then I'm going to change the head in my screwdriver to the Torx head, which is what the linkage screw requires, and remove that screw. I'm going to control the lever with my hand while I do this so that it doesn't snap back and damage anything once the screw comes out. I also have a little cup that I'm going to put the screws in so that they don't get lost. The next thing to do is to remove the stop arm screw, which is the large screw in the very center of the valve. Go ahead and take that all the way out. Put that in the cup. Now you don't need to remove the stop arm to do this. This is the stop arm, which is the piece that turns and hits the bumpers. But if it's easy to remove like this one is, go ahead and take that off and put that in the cup. And then you need to remove the retaining ring from the front of the rotor. Now, if this is too tight to remove with your fingers, you can very carefully, with the plastic dowel or wooden dowel, tap on the knurled edge of the retaining ring by placing that dowel against it and then tapping on it with a rawhide mallet or something. Only tap at an angle. Don't tap straight down, and don't tap from the side because you could damage this. So just gentle taps. This really shouldn't be more than finger tight, so a little tap like that should free it up. Go ahead and take that all the way off. And then the tool that I made has two threaded posts on it. These screws usually are metric on the, this is an Eastman tuba. Mack Brass also has some of these valves that need to be removed this way. And they will have metric threads on them. This particular one, the metric size is M2.5 x 0.45, and my remover actually has two different size threaded rods on it. This one is an M3 x 0.5, which is a slightly larger and actually stronger thread. And you may want to consider having a technician drill this hole out and tap it to an M3 x 0.5. But if it has the M2.5 x 0.45, use the smaller post and carefully start that into the hole where the stop arm retaining screw came out of and tighten it all the way down. Only finger tight, just until it stops. What that does is back the threads of the post up against the threads inside the hole and takes any play out. Then take your puller, and note this is a little slide hammer. This piece, plastic piece, slides up and taps against the top and just puts a little bit of pressure against it. Now, when you get ready to do that, I'm left-handed, so I'm going to use my left hand to operate the puller. Use your dominant hand to operate the puller and the other one to support this bearing plate that is going to come loose out of the top of the valve. And then you can support the puller a little bit to get some of the slop out of it. And just tap up repeatedly. And the valve will come out. You need to do it gently and use care that you don't fling it across the room. That's why you support it with your other hand. This rotor is made out of brass. It will get dinged very easily, so you want to be careful, not let it fall on things. Use your rag to wipe off any excess oil or gunk that's in there. Wipe it off of the bearing surface down here in the stem. Apply new oil, and you can use the light bearing and linkage oil by Hetman on the stem, or oil of your choice, but that's what I like to use. And then I put a little rotor oil on the body of the rotor itself. Carefully set that back in. Now there's an alignment post on the side of the bearing, and that goes into the slot that's in the rotor casing. I'll set that in gently. Align that part. I'm not sure I have it in the right place. There it is. Okay, and then you can press the bearing down in finger tight. Go ahead and press it all around so it's as level as you can get it. Take the donut out. Again, be careful not to drop this onto the horn. And you should only have put it in there finger tight so it comes back out easily. Put your retaining ring back in place, tighten it down, and that will press the bearing back in. If it doesn't get completely seated, you can take your dowel and gently tap around the outside, again at a slight angle, so that you don't damage the retaining ring. And that'll get the rotor down where it needs to be, and it should spin freely. Put the stop arm back on. Put the stop arm screw back in place, and on this one the stop arm screw and the guard screw look pretty similar. So if you have any question when you're starting to take this apart, if you have any question about where the screws go or anything, you can take a close-up picture of it so you can refer back to it and get the screws back into the right place. Oops. That's why you want to hold on to the lever. That wasn't very good. Sometimes it would be good to have more than two hands. Okay, and snug that one back up. Put the guard back in place. Tighten up both of those screws, and everything should work smoothly. These valves are hard to oil on this bottom side, and that's the purpose for doing this whole operation, is to get to it, keep it cleaned out, and keep it oiled. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, you're welcome to send me an email, mikemorserepair@gmail.com. Thanks. Bye-bye.